Prince William was meant to emerge as the Great Hope. For years, the whole image of the British royal family hinged on one delicate idea, that he stood in stark contrast to his father, Charles. The public was fed a powerful tale, that seeing his mother Princess Diana's pain, her tears, and the turmoil surrounding Camilla Parker Bowles's involvement had shaped him into someone utterly devoted and steadfast. He came across as the committed spouse, the forward-thinking dad, the one destined to break the cycle of past royal mistakes. Yet what if this carefully crafted portrait turns out to be the biggest illusion of all? What if beneath that flawless exterior lies a hidden truth so explosive it dwarfs anything from Charles's past? Online communities have stopped swallowing the enchanted narrative. There's one particular name the mainstream British media won't touch. Mentioning it sparks alarm inside Kensington Palace's halls. The persistent gossip has grown so intense it could potentially topple the entire Windsor dynasty. We're witnessing a drawn-out disaster unfold, with the man set to become king firmly at the wheel. The contradiction feels almost unbearable. William shaped his whole persona around being different from his father. Still, according to shadowy online discussions and quiet tips from those in the know, he's heading down precisely the same dangerous route, one that might push the monarchy to the brink of collapse. If you're eager to reveal the truths the palace works tirelessly and expensively to conceal, and if you'd like to keep pace with the information they're desperate to bury, go ahead and tap that like button while subscribing to the channel immediately. We're committed to exploring the accounts they prefer to keep buried. To grasp how serious this situation has become, we must move beyond the polished images of joyful kids in matching attire. Instead, pay attention to what's absent: the quiet. In royal journalism, chatter can mislead, but a complete lack of sound rings alarmingly loud. Whispers linking Prince William to the Marchioness of Cholmondeley, Rose Hanbury, aren't fresh. They've been quietly circulating since 2019. Lately, though, the temperature has risen dramatically. The gentle simmer turned into a full rolling boil, not from some reckless tabloid expose, but from an apparent effort to suppress everything. There's a well-known occurrence called the Streisand effect. Attempting to conceal information often amplifies curiosity about it. The small circle of approved royal correspondents has mostly avoided any reference to Rose Hanbury when discussing tensions in the marriage. To an ordinary person, that might seem like basic courtesy toward personal matters. But for those combing through TikTok and X, formerly Twitter, the absence screams suspicion. It reeks of a super injunction, that extreme British legal tool reserved for the extremely rich. It doesn't merely block coverage of an issue, it forbids even acknowledging the existence of the restriction itself. You're barred from naming the forbidden topic, or from admitting you're barred from naming it. That enforced emptiness gets rapidly occupied by speculation and elaborate theories in our connected era. Much of the web now assumes British outlets are legally muzzled, powerless to reveal what's occurring inside Adelaide Cottage or Amber Hall. The imposed quiet has paradoxically become proof in itself. If nothing needed concealing, why construct such an impenetrable barrier? Why do publications that thrive on tiny royal slip-ups handle this one subject with visible fear? We have to trace this back to where the trouble began. It was 2019. Feels distant now. News cycles were consumed by Harry and Meghan, conveniently overshadowing events in Norfolk. The Sun dropped a dramatic report called Rural Rivalry. It described how Kate, then Duchess of Cambridge and now Princess of Wales, had experienced a severe rift with her nearby friend and neighbour Rose Hanbury. According to the piece, Kate sought to exclude Rose from their tight-knit aristocratic circle in the area, nicknamed the Turnip Toffs. This struck many as astonishing. Kate has always projected calm restraint. She thinks strategically and avoids visible conflicts. Pushing to banish a notable Marchioness from the group implied some profound disloyalty. Then things grew stranger. Rather than quietly disappearing, the piece was pulled back, toned down, reframed forcefully. Before long, assurances emerged that no real conflict existed and both parties were weighing legal steps. After that, nothing. The tale evaporated from conventional outlets. Yet the web retains traces. Nothing truly vanishes online. So the lingering puzzle remains: why invest such effort in burying a supposedly minor neighborhood spat, unless the real issue cut far deeper than social positioning? Minor squabbles over events or decor simply fade naturally. You only erase something when it risks touching the untouchable, when it endangers the union of the man who will one day wear the crown. More recent accounts from people tied to the Norfolk crowd indicate the supposed exclusion never fully succeeded. While outsiders perceived distance, private lines of communication supposedly stayed active. Encrypted chats and closed groups circulate suggestions that William's link to the Cholmondeley property continued past 2019. Certain voices insist it simply became stealthier, adapting to increased observation with greater care. Talk circulates of secure devices, untraceable gadgets, and discreet nighttime travel between properties that avoids official records. These elements sound like thriller novel material, but consider the lineage involved. A dynasty that has endured centuries through skillful compartmentalization and hidden lives. This situation traps Kensington Palace in an impossible position. A straightforward public rejection would breathe fresh life into the speculation. Addressing it officially would place Rose's name beside William's in palace stationery, something they dare not risk. Remaining mute, clinging to traditional British reserve, allows accusations of William as unfaithful to spread freely across platforms. They're waging an outdated defense in a hyper-connected world. Palace thinking assumes that without coverage in the Times or on the BBC, the matter lacks substance. But today's audience sources insight from detailed X threads and viral clips examining nonverbal cues, and those cues are conveying their own version of events. Observable changes have appeared in how William and Kate interact. The carefully produced clips, polished YouTube content, and deliberate displays of amusement increasingly come across as staged, more like crisis management than genuine moments. Alleged examinations of unedited material reportedly reveal a chillier atmosphere. Smiles vanishing instantly once cameras stop rolling, noticeable space between them, rigidity absent in earlier years. Observers are noticing fractures in the once flawless surface, echoes of the sorrow once visible in Diana's gaze now appearing in Kate's. The consequences extend beyond emotions into money and reputation. The combined William and Kate image remains the primary anchor, keeping the monarchy's appeal intact. Charles earns tolerance rather than affection. Camilla receives acceptance without enthusiasm. The institution's longevity, its sparkle, depends almost entirely on this couple. They function as the brand's figureheads. Should their partnership prove hollow, should William turn out to be merely another Windsor, unable to honor commitments, the enchantment dissolves. Citizens start questioning payments for what resembles daytime drama. Nations in the Commonwealth already considering departure would gain strong justification to depart. The double standard here feels particularly sharp. William has frequently portrayed his brother Harry as disloyal, the one who abandoned duty, aired grievances, profited from revelations. Yet if these Rose stories hold truth, William undermines the family internally, jeopardizing their most precious public figure, Kate. Harry attacked from afar, William supposedly ignites trouble from within. It reflects an ingrained aristocratic arrogance, the conviction of immunity, the assumption that kingship grants license to indulge in long-standing traditions of extramarital companions. He seems unaware that constant digital monitoring has ended any chance of undetected arrangements. Still, actions imply he hasn't adjusted to that reality. Persistent mentions circulate about certain jewelry, not the well-known engagement piece, but items reportedly spotted with Rose that closely resemble things William has given. Online investigators scrutinize clear images, aligning dates and origins. It appears far-fetched until recalling that Charles once gave matching bracelets to both Diana and Camilla. With this family, patterns don't merely echo, they shout. Recent developments deepen the shadows around these ideas. During Kate's abdominal procedure and recovery period, speculation surged rather than faded. With her out of sight, information gaps fueled extreme notions, but beneath wild claims lay steady murmurs questioning marital stability. Why did William's commitment suddenly vanish? Was it solely supportive, or did it involve containing fallout elsewhere? Certain royal observers linked the physical health episode to emotional strain, proposing that sustaining flawless appearances amid persistent gossip exacted a heavy bodily cost. The image emerges of Kate enduring solitude, not merely from medical needs, but possibly from a partner directing attention outward. The protective aura around William has eroded. Media once shielded him for continued access, the public once guarded him because of Diana's memory. That protection has vanished. The original rural rivalry report marked the initial fracture, now scrutiny floods in. Coverage of him online has transformed, shifting from sympathetic son to possible antagonist. Every public appearance gets filtered through the Rose lens, solo event attendance prompts questions, visible fatigue invites assumptions of conscience. Geography adds another layer of complication. Norfolk properties. Amer Hall and nearby Houghton Hall, home to Rose and her husband David Roxovich, were intended as peaceful retreats from London's glare. Yet their closeness creates immense challenges for secrecy. Urban settings offer anonymity in crowds. Rural areas mean neighbors notice everything. Community talk persists with accounts of casual pub meetings, vehicles in unusual spots, interactions exceeding ordinary friendliness. These murmurs could amplify swiftly should mainstream coverage finally emerge. The long-standing palace approach of avoiding complaint or explanation falters here. It suited Queen Elizabeth because she remained enigmatic. William and Kate, however, marketed accessibility and relatability. You can't promise openness then erect barriers when inquiries turn difficult. That breach of implied agreement, trading public support for genuine insight, fuels resentment. People sense deception, as though promised a love story but delivered heartbreak. Rose's position deserves consideration too. She's no outsider, she's aristocracy through and through, woven into royal structures. Her spouse serves in a close capacity to the sovereign. This isn't a casual dalliance with someone peripheral. It's intertwined with the system's framework, rendering separation extraordinarily complex. No simple payoff or relocation suffices when the individual forms part of the establishment itself. Should these accounts prove accurate, William undertakes peril bordering recklessness, or perhaps profound attachment. The latter frightens the institution most, not fleeting interest, but authentic feeling for someone other than his future consort. That scenario echoes Charles and Camilla, updated for today. As layers unfold, keep in mind that authorized versions serve specific purposes. The assembled fragments, vanished reports, removed posts, quiet sources, often conceal reality. These persistent Rose stories endure because they redefine perceptions of William entirely. They fracture the idealized reflection. Repairs may occur, but imperfections remain visible forever.